pleasant day to everyone. We are Group 5 and in this video, we will embark on a journey of discovery into the intricate web of life on our planet. Our topic today, Invasive Encounters, exploring human impact on wildlife and carbon flow. As inhabitants of this planet, we share our home with a myriad of fascinating creatures, from the smallest insects to the mightiest predators. But our interactions with wildlife aren't always harmonious. Human activities have increasingly encroached upon natural habitats, leading to habitat destruction, fragmentation, and degradation. As a result, wildlife populations face numerous challenges, from loss of habitat and food sources to increased competition and conflicts with humans. One particularly pressing issue is the introduction of invasive species into ecosystems around the world. These non-native organisms disrupt the delicate balance of ecosystems, often outcompeting native species for resources and altering natural habitats. Examples of invasive species include zebra mussels in freshwater ecosystems, Asian carp in rivers and lakes, and lionfish in coral reefs. These invaders can have devastating effects on native flora and fauna, threatening biodiversity and ecosystem stability. But the impact of invasive species extends beyond their direct effects on wildlife. They also disrupt essential ecological processes such as the flow of carbon through ecosystems. The carbon cycle is a vital process that regulates Earth's climate and supports life on our planet. Animals play a crucial role in this cycle by consuming organic matter, releasing carbon dioxide through respiration and decomposing organic material. However, when invasive species disrupt native ecosystems, they can alter the balance of this cycle, leading to changes in vegetation, habitat structure, and carbon storage. Join us on this exploration of invasive encounters, where we uncover the complex relationships between humans, wildlife, and the carbon cycle. Together, let's work towards a more sustainable future for all inhabitants of our planet.
Just as invasive species disrupt native ecosystems when introduced into new environments, humans have reshaped landscapes, altered natural habitats, and exerted significant pressures on biodiversity. Through urbanization, agriculture, and infrastructure development, humans have transformed vast expanses of natural habitats into fragmented landscapes, leading to habitat destruction and fragmentation that displace native species, disrupt ecological processes, and diminish overall biodiversity. Fragmented habitats isolate populations, impede gene flow, and increase the vulnerability of species to extinction. As human activities such as trade and travel have introduced non-native species to new environments, it leads to biological invasion that can have devastating consequences for native wildlife. These invasive ideas and practices further worsens these threats, highlighting the urgent need for sustainable practices and conservation efforts to minimize our ecological footprint and promote coexistence with the natural world.
When invasive species invade ecosystem, they mess up how carbon moves around, which is super important for plants doing their thing with photosynthesis and us breathing. Here's how they mess things up. First, these invader plants take over from the locals, hiding stuff like sunlight and nutrients, which messes with how much carbon plants can soak up. Then they mess with how stuff decomposes, which can either speed up or slow down how much carbon gets released into the air or stays in the ground. Also, they mess up the friendship between native plants and other creatures that help with the carbon stock, causing problems with how nutrients move around and where carbon gets stored. Some of these invaders even munch on stuff that's rich in carbon, changing where it ends up. And on the top of all that, they mess with how everything in the ecosystem works. like water and nutrients moving around, which can have big effects on the carbon too. Understanding all is key to dealing with these invaders and keeping our ecosystems healthy.
As we delve deeper into the realm of invasive encounters, it becomes apparent that their effects extend far beyond simple species displacements. Invasive species like unruly guests in a carefully orchestrated symphony disrupt the delicate balance of ecosystems, setting off a chain reaction of ripple effects. One of the most immediate impacts is the alteration of food webs. Invasive species can outcompete native wildlife for resources, leading to declines in populations of native species. This disruption reverberates through the ecosystem, affecting predator-prey dynamics and even the availability of essential nutrients. Furthermore, invasive species can have profound effects on the carbon cycle, disrupting the flow of this vital element through terrestrial and aquatic ecosystems. For instance, invasive plants can alter soil composition and nutrient cycling, affecting carbon sequestration rates. Similarly, invasive aquatic species can alter the cycling of carbon in freshwater systems, impacting both the production and decomposition of organic matter.
When it comes to tackling the effects of invasive species on wildlife and carbon flow, mitigation methods and conservation initiatives are essential because they outcompete native species, change the structure of their habitats, and interfere with carbon cycles. Invasive encounters damage ecosystems. Proactive steps like early discovery and quick response are essential to reducing these impacts. By putting in place strict monitoring methods, invasive species can be quickly identified and controlled or eradicated before they become a large population. The main goals of conservation initiatives are to strengthen biodiversity, rebuild natural ecosystems, and increase resistance to invaders. Furthermore, increasing public knowledge of the negative effects invasive species have on the environment and the economy encourages community involvement and support for conservation efforts. It is possible to preserve biodiversity, ecosystems, and the integrity of the carbon cycle for both the current and future generations by implementing extensive mitigation techniques and conservation initiatives.